to the IP FAMBA show. The FAMBA show is going down right here in Washington, D.C., where I'm in the lab and my special guest today. Man, this was my teammates from the Chi. We were Chicago Bulls getting it done, and he's still getting it done on and off the court, mainly off the court now. We got to talk. We'll get into it with him, but I got to bring my dog into the building, Mr. Eddy Curry.
My man. Nah, thanks for having me, JY. Yeah, man. Those Bulls days was something else, man. I apologize for being a knucklehead. I'm sure I was a knucklehead back then.
Nah, man, definitely not. Definitely not.
Dang, I don't know what happened, bro.
That's all right. Clean it up. We'll be able to edit it out. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, thanks for having me, bro. You know, you told me about the show. I'm like, of course, I gotta come get a dog some love, bro.
There you go.
Yeah.
You were getting into the Chicago Bulls, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just I was young, fresh out of high school. So you probably caught me at a really, really immature time. So, if I gave you any headaches, I apologize for that. But no, man, you were always great to me, a great vet, man. Someone I always look to as inspiration, both on and off the court, man. So I salute you, brother.
Man, listen, you were never a knucklehead. Let's just get that cleared up. You were young, you were learning. I think that, you left a lot of things on the table.
Yeah.
Let's say that. There's a difference between a knucklehead and somebody just leaving stuff on the table. You were just leaving things on the table. And those are the kind of things that when I was a vet and I'm sitting back and look at you, all I could say to you every day was, brother, you are so talented. That's what I just kept trying to feed that into your spirit, because what I was seeing, I was like, this is incredible. Coming out of high school is one of the hardest things that people really don't realize in terms of the game of basketball, because you're stepping into a man's game, but you have youthful athleticism that's like unparalleled. And you had the size to compete with any of the top centers. I'm talking about anybody from Shaq to everybody at that time period, which is phenomenal. And not only were you competing, you were dominating but you just didn't understand what you were doing. I
had no clue.
I saw that you couldn't put it together in that fourth quarter after you already scored 20, 10, and 5. Like, then that's when it was like, okay, here's money. And I was just like, oh, he don't know. He got to go to his counter move now.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's 100% right. It's crazy. It's almost like watching a young player is almost like for an NBA player, for like a vet, watching these young players now, it's like being a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see your full potential. I know exactly what you got to do, how to implement it. I just can't play it for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's and that's just, I know that's a lot of that sounds like exactly what you're saying. It's hard to teach that, especially like you said, you got youth working against you. You got immaturity working against you. You got just the different, just the newness of it all. I wasn't used to the NBA. I wasn't used to the spotlight that was on me. The responsibility. Are we back?
Yeah, that's not you. Some reason flipped you around.
Man, can you see me? I don't even see you on my screen no more right now.
You don't see me?
You see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Oh, that's crazy. Should I keep going? I don't know.
Hold on. Exit and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
Yep. And 3, 2. Welcome back to the IP FAMBA show. Eddy Curry's here, and he was just going over Chicago Bulls days. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, no, just being so young, man, and being in your home city, nothing can really prepare you for that. And I think it was so, new at the time. Of course, you had KG who did it, but I don't think at the time you had anybody like that was really highly touted like that, and just basically went to the draft and left New York and came right back home. So I mean, that was that took some getting used to. It took some maturity, and just took a awakening to really understand that, man, you don't have all the answers, man, and you really got to keep growing and try to become a better player, And at the same time, you know how it is, man, when you just just competitive, man, you just feel like, man, I could dog anybody. I just want to dog anybody. You've been
Got some technical difficulties here.
A 4-point shot.
How about the White Mamba?
How about
in the starting lineup?
Oh,
Rick Barry switching things.
The Scalabrini-Jackson matchup that you have been
waiting for. The key to the game is who wins that matchup.
No question about it. Frank Nitti drops it off. There's Curry. I said question mark. How about Eddy Curry? Nifty footwork and finishes with a left. Big presence inside for the killer threes. Nitti, Steven Jackson. Curry, offensive rebound, up over McDonald. 4 early points for the killer threes.
Mindset you want to go out with is just put them back on their heels early. Flare screens, and that time, Scal able to clear enough distance on the baseline and knock in that little 15-foot jump shot.
Nitti into Curry. All 6 early on for the killer threes from Eddy Curry. Curry wants it on McDonald. And now Curry backing in, takes a couple of good pops. Curry finishes. That's 8 early for Eddy Curry. Killer threes in ball hog. Curry, 8 of the first 12 for the killer threes. Curry in tight.
Bounce pass that came right into the shooting pocket of Stevenson.
4 straight for Deshaun Stevenson. Won an NBA title with the Mavs.
Man, that's that boy, Eddy Curry. This is the FAMBA show, and we welcome him back, Eddy Curry. He's talking hoops. He's talking about his journey, through his athletic journey, talking about Chicago. Let's get into when you got traded from Chicago to New York. You're going from one big city to another even bigger city, if that's even accomplished. Chicago being one of the biggest cities in the United States. What was that transition like?
Man, JY, that was a whirlwind, bro. Like, especially for me, it was an emotional time because I wasn't ready to leave, man. Like, I had a irregular heartbeat that kind of sidelined me, and basically forced the Bulls into making a tough decision. Forced us both into making a tough decision. It's kind of put on the table for me to take a DNA test, and I told them I didn't want to do that, and basically the solution for them was to find a sign and trade, because if I didn't, I was gonna have to sit out that following year, kind of be marked as, this medical issue. And that's something that I didn't want, because I was, very confident, throughout just seeing doctors and talking to specialists that I was more than healthy and able to play. So I had to move on from Chicago. Happened really abruptly. It's right when we was turning everything around. First time we had been to the playoffs since I was there.
Right.
Yeah, man. So that was really, really tough, man. And literally down to the 0 hour. Like we did the deal, and I met the Knicks in training camp. So it literally was it was crazy. It was crazy to say the least. But I appreciate the Knicks and I appreciate the Bulls, for the opportunity. Of course, as a youngster, it's like I had a lot of resentment for Chicago, and just I kind of felt like, it kind of forced my hand to do something that I really didn't want to do. But I think overall, just as a man, I think it definitely helped mold me and shape me to become who I am today. Just made me a strong individual, and somebody who just realizes that you got to always kind of look at the bright side, and beyond looking at the bright side, you also got to work to pull yourself through, because it's not going to just happen on its own.
Man, it doesn't just happen on its own, and the decisions that we make kind of mold us and get us into those types of positions. I was obviously in New York right before you got there, and then decided to retire right as you were arriving to the New York Knicks. So I was happy that they got you. I actually got a call about you from Isaiah Thomas and whether or not they could get you to New York.
Wow.
Me being your former teammate. It's funny how those kind of things always
Yeah.
But you said something profound in the fact that these kind of decisions and things like that. But I want to get to one of the important decisions that you made when you decided to marry your wife Patrice, and talk a little bit about that journey through marriage and being young, but also finding a good wife. Let's talk about it. Most guys don't find them. They hard to find.
for sure, or you find it and mess it up, right? And I think that was definitely the path that I was on. I knew for a fact that I found my wife when I found her. Like I don't know how I knew, but it was just she was everything that I needed. Even though I fought it a lot. I fought her. Trying to pry into my business and making sure that I was on top of things. I'm like, nah, I'm on it. Let me just handle this. Let me be the man. Let me, but it's that, the whole time she's in my ear, like, nah, we should check this out. Nah, we should bring some outside people in and look at stuff. Nah, you need to take your money and put it over here and have, it was always that type of thing. It was always that voice in the back of my head and sitting right next to me. But I was just so like, nah, I got this. Just that cocky thing, that athlete bravado, that man thing,
Yeah.
And and she just, she's always right. I hate to admit it, but she's always right. And then just things that I did, just growing up as a young man, bad decisions that I was making, just putting our relationship in jeopardy, putting our family in jeopardy. Clearly wasn't worth it, but you just some of those things, man, you just work through as a young kid, man. Dealing with the attention from the ladies and things like that, and being able to balance everything out, and but through it all, I knew for a fact that, like, man, I want to be with her. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm just one of those guys that was lucky enough that she stayed through it all. And it took a lot of work to get to where we are today, the trust to build it all back, and for her to be able to know that I'm gonna always do right by us in this relationship and this family. But I couldn't imagine my journey without her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always really hard on myself, and really just willing to apologize even when I don't have to apologize now, just because of so much just turbulence that I brought to this relationship. So she's my rock, man, for sure. Like, wherever I go, she's got to go. I mean, I'm here in Chicago now, for an appearance. Everybody knows, like, whatever I do, I got to bring Patrice, to the point where, like, they like, if they booking me a first class seat, I'm like, don't book me a first class. Just give me 2 exit rows.
There you go.
Like that. So that's just kind of how we roll. It's just really good to have that person, man. And throughout this journey, man, you have so many relationships, and you see so many I've seen the beginning and the end of so many relationships, you know, along the way. And it's the craziest thing, you know.
That's a fact.
You could vividly remember going to people's weddings and things like that. And then you see these people 10, 12, 20 years later in some cases. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm on my second wife. Or, oh yeah, we got divorced back. I'm like, what? You guys got divorced? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm talking about, I mean, these are, you know, Jay, like a lot of these dudes spend millions on weddings and things like that.
Man, facts.
Flying in singers and all of that, just for it to be over, and you gotta, you know, split your stuff down down the middle, and it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And that's why, like, that's like a big part of me speaking to the youth now. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but like kind of what I do now is go and talk to all of the players about financial awareness and asset protection. And just how important a prenuptial agreement is. I mean, I talk about prenups and the importance of it, but I also talk about the importance of self-control and discipline. You know, trying to use that same self-control and discipline that got you to the league. Right. That's the same type of effort that it's going to take to keep evolving your relationship and making it stronger, and make sure that you're doing everything that you can to make sure you have a prosperous relationship. Because in the end, man, our basketball careers go by so fast, man. It's like a blink of an eye, you know what I'm saying? You look back and it's like, damn, you know, I look at my oldest son who'll be 22 this year.
What?
He'll be 22 this year. Little Eddie will be 22 this year. Wow. You know, I had him in high school. So it's like, he's always that marker of, when you were born, I was just drafted. So you know, that's really my only sense of like how long I really have been in the league and how long it's been since I got drafted. Because in my mind, that happened just yesterday, bro. Because I'm looking at my 22-year-old like, no, that really didn't happen yesterday. You know, that was two decades ago. So correct. You know, it's crazy, man. And to know that my wife has been there through it all, man, all the ups and downs, all of the crazy stuff, man, it's truly a blessing, bro. I can't say that it's all me. It's all God, bro. Because I didn't give her any reason to stick around. I really didn't.
Man, you are watching the FAMBA show, and we are getting to the nitty gritty with Eddy Curry. He's dropping nuggets, dimes. I mean, this is just, I feel like he's Magic Johnson throwing out these assists. I hope the youth out there, I hope the parents, I hope the people in relationships are paying attention, because this isn't just NBA talk. This is life. This is life. You know, we see this happening on our level as well as on the lower levels. And you know, I've been married for 23 years to the same woman, Nicolette, and I can echo exactly what Eddie is preaching in terms of finding a good woman and going through that journey, because it's a battle when you're at the top of your, you know, career and somebody's playing the background trying to keep you out of trouble and trying to keep you out of harm's way, but they got to battle with you. They got to battle with us because we're saying, no, we got this. You just, you know, play your position type of deal. And it was just, you know, you marry and you find that rock where someone is willing to wait on you and wait for you to get to your level of consciousness where you're looking and saying, wait a minute, you done battled through all this. Wait, oh no, you're not going nowhere. That's when you know you're both, you know, on the same plane. And that's what I hear from you, Eddie. And I just salute you and your wife, because Black excellence starts with two individuals making a decision that they're going to hold down a family. And when that happens, you know, hey, the laws of this universe don't like it.
No,
but
they don't.
You mentioned God. You mentioned, you know, our Lord and Savior. So he loves it, and that's what he's here to help everybody do. So I appreciate you bringing that to the fold, man. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, retirement, right? And then saying, you know what? I'm not actually retired. I'm going to go play 3-on-3.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ice Cube, what he did was amazing with forming the Big Three. For guys, I know at my age, I knew going full court was not really a thing that I wanted to do again. You know, that time has absolutely passed me by. But half court, I mean, it allows you to still get out there and give that competitive itch a scratch. You know what I mean? So I think that's great. Our fans don't just disappear. People who supported us, they don't just die off. Of course they move on and have other favorite players and this and that. But I mean, a lot of what I've realized throughout my time being retired is that these people really get a kick out of, really get a real natural joy out of seeing you again, whether it's in person or just hooping on the court in any capacity. So I think Ice Cube does a great job at really creating that platform for guys to, first get some nice money over a short amount of time, and also, like I said, scratch that itch, man, of wanting to compete and connecting with your fans again, your fan base. So I think that's great, and he does it in a way that doesn't allow your body to be broken all the way down. I still have my aches and pains, and my knees were still a little bit shaky a few days after that, but I mean, you get a whole week in between. So I mean, for me, it was a beautiful thing for sure.
Right. Now you know how the NFL players be feeling. Like, brother, you get a week off.
Right.
It's good.
Right.
Look, you got to recover.
Need that whole week. Right when I just start feeling a little bit normal again. Oh, gotta go play again. So,
gotta go play again.
Yeah, it's one of them things. You guys see these superhumans going up and down the court at top speed for 48 minutes. Like I tell my sons this. Everybody has aspirations of being in the league, and I'm just like, you got to be able to do something at 100 miles an hour, bro. Like, you have to go 100% at all times. These guys you see on this court are running as fast as they can. They're jumping as high as they can on every single play. Like, and that's how you got to tune your body up to do. So, I mean, just the wear and tear that causes, man, it's tremendous. And especially you playing a big man position, you down there banging, and it seems like we got to run the furthest. We run it from under the basket to under the basket.
That's a fact.
Run it to the top of the key to defend pick and rolls, and like what? And then you still got to do your thing when they drop you the ball. Like, I mean, I would say we got the toughest position in the game. The big is probably the toughest, period. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, and then talk about it, because not only did you have to run from baseline to baseline, but what happens when they say come up and set a screen? Now you got to go back up.
Got to go back up. Got to go back up.
Then go back down.
Come on, Jay. You know,
bro. Stop.
You know how it was, bro. Like, man. And this is before the age of, we just gonna switch everything. No, it wasn't really no switching. It was, you gotta contain, or you gotta trap, or you gotta blue it. It's a lot. It's a lot you gotta deal with, and all while going 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And then you still gotta, like, I wasn't really there to play defense. In my mind, I was here to play offense. So on top of trying to contain it as best I could, I had to still run down the court, be the first one down, so I have a good chance of getting the basketball. And I'm trying to bury you under the basket, so I'm literally running from the basket, under the basket to under the basket. And then my guard might call me out for a high pick and roll or a side pick and roll. So it's people don't understand, man. It's a lot. It's a lot, man.
I remember playing with you in Chicago, and I mean, we were winning. Like, we only lost the playoff. We didn't make the playoffs that year by one game. It was a one game thing, right? And I used to be like, yo, we had Jamal Crawford, you, Tyson Chandler, and Antonio Davis. I was like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be like killing everybody. And I was like, yo, Eddy Curry, all we got to get him to do is to come over on this weak side, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my goodness. Like, when you would come over and block shots, I'd just be like, yo, he did that every play. We'd be unstoppable. But it's to your point. You're learning this. You're learning. You didn't go to college. That brings up a good point. You're watching the FAMBA show with JYD. My guest, Eddy Curry. Stay tuned, because he's getting ready to get into, if he did go to college, what college would he go to? Eddy, now, if you were in college, if you, NIL today, with all these new rules, Hunter Dickinson, Michigan, $2 million a year to go to Kansas.
Jeez.
For 2 years, $2 million
Jeez.
in college. You know, you on campus, you big man on campus, you getting a check, and you're going to class. So right now, give me your top 4 schools for Eddy Curry that you would consider. So we don't have to get into which one you would choose, but if you had to choose between 4 schools, who would make your final 4?
I would say Duke. I would say USC. I would say maybe UCLA.
UCLA. He likes the palm trees.
It's a lot of money out. It's a lot of money out there, baby. It's a lot of money out there.
You know, he went East Coast and went straight to the West Coast with 2 schools that are within, you know, a 5-mile radius. You know, that's saying something. But those are up and down schools, right?
They are
running schools.
They are. I think my 4th would be Michigan, just because he
left out that center school that could have been.
But I ain't gonna lie.
Right there, woo!
If the late great John Thompson was there, I would absolutely go there. That was absolutely one of the places I wanted to go to, like Patrick Ewing, and that's definitely one of the places I would have absolutely wanted to go to for sure.
Right.
But now, like looking back right now, just looking at the landscape right now, NIL deals, and I'm looking at what would have kept me from going and trying to chase the bag to get my family out the projects, and projects, but just get us to a higher situation, a better situation. I mean, I think I would have, like I said, I would have had to be in LA because it's a lot of money. I think it's a lot of opportunities for some good NIL deals out there.
They do.
I've always just had a love for Michigan, period. My high school jerseys and uniforms were similar to those, and my favorite player ever was like Chris Webber. I always want to beat Chris Webber, between Chris Webber and Rasheed Wallace. Those were always like my favorite players. Jay Rose, one of my all-time favorite teammates, the long Michigan shorts, the black socks. Like, I really like Michigan. I would have
left-handed assassin.
Left-handed assassin, bro.
Shout out to Jalen and Chris.
Shout out Jay and Chris. But yeah, man. And then like I said, man, I think Duke, just the historic nature, the historic school that Duke is. And like I said, I'm thinking NIL, and I'm thinking me having the ability to come out of high school. What would have kept me from what would have, kind of said, okay, I'll put the brakes on that right now. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what a lot of these ladies are doing now. Angel and all of them choosing college and choosing to be able to set their futures up, before taking that next level. So I think
shout out to Angel Reese. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. Oh my, that girl. I'm watching her every time she comes on.
Every time.
Parking lot. Caitlin Clark is a beast.
Beast, bro. Beast.
Yeah, they making college basketball, women's college basketball, so fun to watch. Because they're doing some amazing things. And NIL is here to stay. And speaking of NIL, before we actually let you go, we got to make sure they know this is the FAMBA show. We're here with Eddy Curry, and Eddy's got a NFT on IP FAMBA app. In order to get to it, you got to go link on the QR code right there in the top left-hand corner of the screen, sign up for IP FAMBA, and type in Eddy Curry, and go to the marketplace where you can purchase his NFT. Money goes to Eddy Curry. He's done such amazing things, and we're going to get into right now. What are you doing off the court? Because I know you're busy. You're doing appearances. You're still world renowned as always. What are you doing, and what are you getting into now?
Right now, my passion is financial awareness. I realize that, I do a lot of meetings with the NBA right now. And just in talking to the guys, I realize that it's still a need for financial awareness. It's still a need for checks and balances, and for guys just being knowledgeable, just putting that knowledge out there for our guys, man. I'm not too familiar with the NBA, with the NFL and other leagues, but I know in our league in particular, man, we still need a little bit of help in that area, just to really kind of move away from that, that black cloud of guys fumbling the bag, or, mismanaging funds. I mean, a lot of guys just look at it. The outside world looks at it as guys just spend all their money. Oh, they got to have 10 cars. They got to have this and that. It's like, no, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? I think those 10 cars aren't what do it. It's the constant bleed from everywhere else. Just the money that gets moved to other accounts that we don't see because it's just so much coming in, and we're always being told to focus on hoop, and you're always worried about the next bag, the next bag,
Yep.
the next bag, that you don't really take the time to really understand what's in front of you. I know for me, a lot of what I dealt with coming up was just putting the responsibility of my finances in someone else's hands. And no one's ever gonna, like they say, no one's gonna treat your stuff or treat anything like you would treat it. And the same holds true to finances, man. Like, really taking the time, really understanding that we got some really good tools out here now that you can use to keep track of everything that's going on. I know when I was first coming in, we didn't have Cash App, we didn't have Zelle, we didn't have, you know what I'm saying, things
that's
like
a
that.
fact. Man, you
different.
couldn't send somebody $10.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Right there.
You could. Yeah,
man,
you could.
Man, to blow up your phone,
yeah,
voicemail messages.
Yeah. Like, I mean, just think about like finding an ATM machine. Now you could cash a check on your phone now. Like, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you used to have to sit down with a banker to do everything. So
that's right.
It was a lot easier to, if you were to be one of those shady guys, or, a lot of times it's not, I won't even say it's about a shady accountant or things like that. It's just a lot of temptation, bro, when you got that kind of money coming across your desk and nobody's watching you.
Right.
A lot can be solved just by putting a couple extra eyes on somebody. A lot can be solved by just being that final signature that has to be, put to paper or electronically signed before any dime can come out. So,
right.
I mean, that's just some of the things I kind of talk about with guys. And then obviously with social media, just the importance of just keeping your image clean. A lot of what I do today, a lot of the relationships I have today are because I was real friendly with people. A lot of the harm that I've done in my life, I've done to myself. I didn't harm other people. I harmed myself. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different. I wasn't known for being this jackass out here. I was just kind of known as a guy who kind of got in his own way. Where social media can kind of show a different side of you, where it's like, oh, this guy's a jackass. This guy's somebody who I don't want to align myself with, and you end up losing the ability to earn outside of basketball, which, like I said, basketball is just such a short window in our lives, and it's just so many more opportunities out there if you can keep a clean image,
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Man, this has been a great show. You've been dropping nuggets all day, man. We could be here all day because there's so much knowledge that you're sharing with the kids, with the parents, with your fans, with my fans. I got to have you back on the show again because
anytime.
We're going to have to get back into some other stuff. But it's always a pleasure, my brother, man. I salute you and your family. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being that shining light, man. You're a light in the community. You're a light for, minorities. You are a light for our community of NBA alumni. You are a light, bro. So I just want to say, here are your flowers, man.
My man.
Eddy Curry, baby.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for all that you do, brother. Always an inspiration on the business side. Like, anything I'm like, JY, I talk to you, bro.
That's a fact.
I'm entering a new space in my life on the business side. I just kind of want to know, so I just appreciate you always being there for me, man. And just being a positive representative for as long as I can remember, bro. You always been that positive representative of what an NBA player should be. So I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother. IP FAMBA, baby.